So the self-published author Laura Owens, a public figure, mind you, is at it again. She's posted to Medium, and this time she's posted on her alleged due date, February 14th, Valentine's Day. The title of this Medium post is From Miscarriage to Mockery. Today marks a day that has loomed heavy on my heart for the last 9 months. It was supposed to be my due date, but there was no promise of joy this morning, no anticipation, only the profound weight of sorrow and an unmistakable feeling of loss. The journey through miscarriage is, in itself, a path paved with heartbreak and silent mourning of dreams that will never come to fruition. Yet, my own path has been uniquely tormented, a narrative twisted and turned grotesque by the hands of strangers online. Now, very interesting. I think it is especially egregious if she is co-opting miscarriage and having not experienced it, because of how devastating that is for people. And also, extremely interesting to me is the choice of the word miscarriage instead of the word stillborn, because the reality remains is that she confirmed that she was still pregnant, I think, past 24 weeks, and in Arizona, after 20 weeks, it is technically considered a stillbirth. Now, this is obviously a heavy topic, but this is what kind of comes along with someone making such heavy accusations. We all saw the writing on the wall that this was coming. I wonder why she's avoiding calling it a stillbirth, if that makes it more serious in her mind and that there's a less... I'm not trying to minimize it, but I'm saying from her perspective, obviously miscarriage and stillbirth are both tragic. One tragedy is not worse than the other, but I think she thinks that the word stillbirth probably holds a more emotional impact, and she's trying to downplay the event or how far along she was in her pregnancy by calling it a miscarriage. Again, hypothetically, far along she was in her alleged pregnancy. Shockingly, the would-have-been father, she could have just said would-be, has fueled this torment, appearing in a shirtless Instagram post today. Ooh, why are you mad that he's shirtless, girl? Are you getting a little upset because you're jealous? Why does that matter? Grinning from ear to ear, gleefully proclaiming, in a parallel universe out there, someone's giving birth to twins today, but not this one. Cruel, insensitive, heartless, immature, and irresponsible are just a few of the words that came to mind when I saw what he'd posted. I thought it was kind of funny because, again, Laura, you have had umpteen chances to prove that this is real, and you continue to do that, but you will run to Medium where no one can have dialogue about what you're posting. You just swear up, down, and sideways that you were pregnant, even though so much points against that. His public denial of sexual intercourse last May, despite his actions of purchasing a pregnancy test last June, insisting I take it in his presence, and it coming back positive, adds a layer of surreal betrayal to my grief. Girl, that was the longest fucking run-on sentence I've ever read. Please use periods. There were several thoughts there that you could have broken that up. And I love how she just says sexual intercourse to purposefully leave it vague. Just interesting thought. He now parades a narrative that denies the very possibility of conception, claiming there were only 2 instances of oral sex combined with a lot of naked grinding over the course of a night we spent together at his apartment. I just think it's so bizarre. You will also see that she's sharing this, and it's like her father has previously shared this stuff on his Facebook, and now really was it her dad? Who knows? I can't say. It's impossible to tell with how creative she gets with online posting. But it just makes me think, like, are they reading this? This is preposterous to me. We saw in those texts with Clayton where she was setting this up days and days and days before she even tested, like just a day or two after the whole hookup. I think it was by May 23rd or 24th at the latest when she started mentioning being, oh, I didn't want to tell you, should I get plan B, but I saw some of your fluid down there, very weird. His outward facade, a stark contradiction to reality, has turned my life into a spectacle, obliterating my reputation and painting me as the architect of a fictitious pregnancy. You, Laura, made this a spectacle. You ran to the internet. You ran to the media. Again, stop shirking responsibility. Some of his fans have positioned themselves as the arbiters of truth, distorting my life into something unrecognizable, with hundreds of thousands now convinced. Okay, I wouldn't say, girl, there's not hundreds of thousands. That's a little excessive. I would say there's probably thousands of people, maybe 10,000 or so who are following this, maybe a little more, but to say hundreds of thousands, don't overinflate your importance, girl. The reach is not that far yet. Now, if that supposed documentary is ever coming out, that reach might get that big. To me, it says, oh, everything that's coming out is contraindicated against her version of reality that she has built up around herself. This mirage she's built of being a victim, all the evidence that we're seeing that she is refusing to prove is false, or, you know, just truly dispel, besides just saying that that's not true and that people have hacked her stuff and faked it. Apparently every man that she's that we know of has hacked things and faked things, ironically enough. But I think that, yeah, it is distorting the life into something unrecognizable, because you have told yourself a different story about the reality of these situations. The narrative paints me not as a grieving would-be mother, but as some sort of con artist in a twisted drama of their own making. Of your own making, Laura. Again, chickens are coming home to roost. This is the bed that you made with your intense threats to go to the media and make this public. This period has been the darkest of my life, not just because of the profound loss, but also for the stark, unyielding cruelty I've encountered. Quote, she's gonna be up to some bullshit today because I sense this triggering her so hard, read one comment, a reminder of the glee some find in another's despair. I don't know if that comment is reading to me as glee. To me, that's reading as someone who just calling out Laura's likely pattern of behavior, but that's just me. It's a level of empathy so absent, so foreign, that it's hard to believe these words come from fellow human beings. Laura, it's hard for me to understand, or for anyone to understand, how your actions are something you participate in against other human beings, even if you were pregnant. You crossed so many lines. You emailed his family. It's really, really concerning. In the aftermath of my loss, while some platforms on the internet have been abuzz with discussion, not a single message of genuine concern, "I'm so sorry," or "How have you been holding up?" has reached me from beyond my immediate circle of friends and family. Instead, I've been met with a barrage of venom from those who've never looked into my eyes nor heard my voice break recounting this loss. Death threats, a horrifying testament to the cruelty that thrives under the cloak of anonymity, have become a terrifying reality from people who have never spoken to nor met me. Compassion, it seems, is a rarity. The content creator I've written about in my previous essays today called the Would Have Been Father's Instagram story brilliant and said he absolutely loved it. He and his followers seem driven by a dark desire to see me broken. They don't want to see me simply defeated, but destroyed. Laura, nobody really wants to see you destroyed. I think that that's something that you are repeatedly ignoring, is the calls for come clean or provide evidence and everyone will back you. Nobody wants to see you destroyed, but here's the reality. Are you feeling like you'll be destroyed because you're afraid of all of the truth coming out, the whole truth? That you can't spin it your way anymore? For some inexplicable reason, they refuse to believe I was pregnant. I will tell you what the explicable reason why people refuse to believe that Laura Owens was pregnant. One, her multiple usage of someone else's sonogram and ultrasounds that are years old. She literally took someone's ultrasound video from YouTube that was like 7 years old, and she did that with Greg as well. She took an old post from like 2014, I think, or something, of a blog post of twins and hijacked that as her own. So that is the number one reason why people refuse to believe you're pregnant. Secondly, it is your avoidance of signing over the release of HIPAA forms for the doctors that you repeatedly said, I will sign HIPAA forms. I will give them my doctor's information. He can check my medical records. But ironically, you never ever sign the things that Clayton's lawyer have to submit to get that into their hands. And you also dodged deposition about this. So, truly, there are a lot of explicable reasons why people doubt that you were ever pregnant. The fact that you had an HCG test, but you didn't have like a transvaginal ultrasound to have a confirmed pregnancy that was involved in any of your evidence, that your only other evidence was confirmations of booking something online to go see a doctor, not actual like processing of insurance or anything like that, or any medical documentations as, you know, a post-care summary, visit summary. I never saw anything like that. So I would love to see This, despite my having ample medical evidence to prove it that you were pregnant. Because we would love to defend you, Laura, if you are defensible. But the reality is it seems you are not, because you have not provided the ample medical evidence. This individual, someone I've never met, has produced hundreds of hours of content claiming to be an authority on my life. Interesting, she has also produced hundreds of hours of content claiming to be an authority on life, if you've listened to some of her podcasts, based on skewed narratives and outright lies. His eagerness to turn my life into a documentary, to sell my story to the highest bidder, is a testament to his apathy. Oh, so this documentary is really upsetting her. I think she's sweating. I know Dave said something about her family having questions about how this would impact their legacy and their reputation. Check your kid. She likely is getting funded from her parents. If anything, she's definitely skated by on her parents' legacy and name to get to where she's at in life, in my opinion, allegedly. And now she's really upset about the potential of a documentary. His actions have not only caused irrevocable damage, but also have highlighted a grim reality. Without the lure of money, my story, my pain would mean nothing to him. She loves to harp on people making money off of this. But Laura, you have made money off of people in lawsuits. You have drained people's money in lawsuits. So really, ethically, what's wrong with someone getting money on covering a story involving public figures, involving public information? Amidst this daily battle, he and his fans know that I've been pushed to the edge, forced to question my very will to continue through another day, another hour, another minute. The fact that individuals can continue to bully someone they know has been vulnerable to the point of considering suicide is a reflection of a deep sickness within our online culture. The ignorance and cruelty of the content creator and his followers has compelled me to make a solemn vow, to rise each day with a resilience forged from the depths of my suffering, to carry the memory of my pregnancy as a testament to my enduring spirit, not as a burden that weighs me down. They seem to crave a tragic end to this saga, a final act of despair that I refuse to give them. Well, Laura, I'm glad that you are not going to do anything permanent and do something that would hurt yourself. I'm very glad. But here's the thing. I don't think anyone wants you to harm yourself. I've not seen one person say that. I don't doubt that some trolls maybe have reached out to her personally and said something, because the internet trolls do love to say like KYS as a thing. But the people who have been discussing this regularly, I've only seen people want well-being for you. I see people wanting health and improvement for you, not trying to take you down. And I know for a fact Dave has never said that. However, the person who has repeatedly used suicide as a point of leverage to have a relationship with people is you. And we see that in court documents. We see that in actual texts from even your family and your exes, of you threatening to kill yourself because they wanted to break up with you. That is a manipulation tactic. That's not a genuine threat. And you said that if you did it, Dave Neal would have blood on your hands. Again, that's a manipulation tactic. You are trying to manipulate people into not holding you accountable by dangling this horrible thing over people's heads. And nobody wants you to do that. No one would be happy. Everyone would be devastated, Laura, because all we want here is accountability, but we want you to go on and improve your life and to stop this. You're purposely misunderstanding. I don't need your validation or your belief in the truth of my pregnancy. The reality of my experience doesn't hinge on public scrutiny or online verdicts. I was pregnant, and as I navigate the remnants of this heartache, know that skepticism holds no power here. This story, my story, doesn't seek approval nor invite judgment. This isn't just another essay that wraps up neatly, tied with the bow of moral lessons or inspirational platitudes. It's the raw, unfiltered truth of a woman who was about to become a mother and then suddenly wasn't. It's about the pain of that loss and the added pain of being judged, doubted, and attacked by people who saw my deepest sorrow as an opportunity for entertainment, scorn, or judgment. It's about still standing in the aftermath of a tragedy that was made all the more unbearable by the cruelty of those who forgot how to be kind. And then she has tagged miscarriage, pregnancy, cyberbullying, social media, and grief. I think that there's a refusal to be kind when you refuse to accept someone's rejection. I think there's a refusal to be kind when you have maybe been scoping someone out as their very first realty deal, as they're fresh on the market, and then luring them with big money sales. I think that's not very kind. I think it's not very kind to go after people that someone who rejected you works with and works for, and you literally impact their income and their reputation and get them fired from things. I also find it incredibly unkind that you would loop in her parents into the situation, even if you were pregnant, when it was just between you and him. I also find it incredibly unkind that before you were even 6 weeks pregnant, allegedly, I believe, or so, you went to the court system and tried to create a parenting plan that wouldn't even be needed for another 9 months. I find it incredibly unkind that you try to silence anybody who has anything to say about this. Shall I go on? Again, I want to be incredibly clear that here on my channel, no harassment. Do not send any disparaging remarks. We only want the best outcome for everyone involved. The best outcome doesn't necessarily mean it will be someone's personal favorite outcome, because for me, I think the best possible outcome for Laura is she is held accountable in whatever way that may be, and she changes up her behavior and she never does anything like this again, and she stays away from relationships because she is clearly not stable enough to have them. With all the evidence that we have, that she has not ever decided to prove this evidence that disproves everything, even though she says she has ample amounts of it. All the important information is missing, but we would love to see it. We would love to see it, Laura. So that is her most recent Medium article. We'll keep you posted if there's anything else that comes out. I know that next week, at the beginning of the week, is, I think, an evidentiary hearing with Clayton and Laura. So we'll see if that gets pushed back again. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, because I believe that he did file a motion to extend. So I'm not sure if that was regarding the evidentiary hearing or something else. But that is that. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for more. All right, have a great day. Talk to you later.